Now, going ahead with the discussions, what we have carried out in the third module about product development. Already, just to recall what we have covered in the earlier classes, that is related to module 3, we have discussed in detail about the difference in product design and product development. What are the various 8 phases of product development? What are the necessary features required for a good product design sequential process? What are the reasons because of which the product may fail? And once the product development process is over, next we discussed about DSS, that is Design Support Tool. How this design support tool is going to assist in product development and especially in design. What is DSS? It's an interactive computer program wherein all the data is stored and it helps you to take the decisions. What are the components of DSS? How to design and build a DSS? What are the inputs required to be build a successful DSS and customize it? All these things we have discussed in the earlier aspect. That is the earlier session. Now, coming back to the details, what we need to study in the next aspect. First is what is the new product financial control. So as you all know, financial control is a very important aspect of a NPD project. So here NPD means new product development. So now for every product development project, there is a project manager who is in charge of looking after the financial control, and it is him who decides how could a financial control offer better support innovative activities. Now more, and the management is other side is always thinking about reducing the cost, but it is up to the financial manager, that is the project manager, to decide about what should be the expenditure involved in the project. Now the major management control research is he has to highlight the role of financial control in supporting NPD project managers, both for project model execution and wider reflections on the business impacts. And always one thing you have to remember in product development is there is a certain scope of uncertainty. Means whatever the budget you have planned may not go in accordance. Sometimes you may have to spend more, and wherever required, it is essential for the project manager to decide where the expenditure should be done. And the management should be more constructive in giving more powers to the NPD project manager to spend more so as there will be no delay in executing the project. This is about financial control. Already we have studied about the business analysis. So here, keeping in aspect the financial constraints involved, the project manager has to take the right decision. Now the next is how do you see, already you know the process of product development. Now the next important is how to implement this product development successfully. As you all know, this is a multi-stage process, and what is required is when you want to implement a new product development, you have to require a new policy or a strategy. That is very, very important. How to implement the product development, a policy or a strategy should be worked out, it should be defined, and based on that guidelines, the entire new product development process should be carried out. Why this strategy or policy is important? Because it leads to avoiding waste of time, effort is greatly reduced, money is saved, uncertainty in the mind of employees removed, and ignorance to work is removed. So implementing the product development is a very important phase. If we fail to implement it in the right way, then there is chances that it may fail. And one more thing, what I would like to stress at this point of time is whatever the processes we are going to identify for successful implementation may not hold good for all the products or services. Every new product is a new challenge. For a new product or services, we have to design a new policy. What holds good for one product may not necessarily hold good for another product. What holds good for one company, another may not hold for another company. So it is purely a customized process where you have to take the decision based on you. For example, you go to a company, study how they are going to implement the product design, and with how they are implemented, if you come and implement in your industry, there are very few chances that it may be successful, because what holds good from them may not be holding good for us. So it depends on type of organization, yours, product design, product status, and all other things. So you cannot consider that it is one that it will be holding universally to us. So generally, as you know, that the new product process is focused on two main areas: to develop new uses of existing products, or to develop a highly profitable and a new product, so as you have to satisfy and retain the existing customers. That is very important. Because for the management they are not clear. So for management it is not clear about what sure. The management also fears that if you have some restriction on the employee, or if you have some restriction on the project manager, then it may curb the innovative activities. Okay, so the new development process is very important, because to implement it, you have to study about its ability to introduce faster, to develop a new stream of new products. We have to understand what is the problem solving mechanism, what are the management philosophies. The capabilities to manage new product requires a total new ability. So what is required successfully, that we study. So if you want to successfully implement the product development, you require to integrate between different functional perspectives. As I said earlier, marketing perspective are different, operation management perspective are different, design perspective, all these we have to take. You have to understand and interpret the need of the customer. And most important, next point I'm telling you, you should be able to forecast technological improvements. This is very important. Technological forecast. This is what we are going to study in the fourth module. That company who can predict what is going to be the next phase of technical development will be the successful. This is very important. And technological forecast is the next module which we are going to study. There we will be studying. So, and in product development, which product should be prioritized, which product should be considered, that also priority should be decided. So this is the most important phase are there. So it is observed that in some firms, they are able to manage innovation better than others. Because what is the reason? They have a learned and developed better capabilities. Importantly, they may be individualistic. They have specific technical competencies, and These problems are different for different categories. So whenever you want to undergo the new product development process, you should highlight wide capabilities of your company, make the detailed research studies, and also show the importance of developing connections and communicating with the marketplace. The market is the most important. Ultimately, there is only minimum information. See now, each typical product development phase, if we want to study, we have to take up a case studies. One case study is not applicable to the another. Next, the capabilities of product development are very specific. What, as I already discussed earlier, what one works for one may not work for another in your same company. Whatever the strategy you applied for implementing product development for one product may not necessarily hold good for the same product. So what happened earlier, we can have a case study example long back which was taken place in Toyota Corporation. A lot of people went, we were happy to note down the success of Toyota company. They visited Toyota company and tried to study how they implemented the product development process so innovatively. And Toyota company was also very happy to reveal the secrets of their process innovation called as Toyota production system to all the people who wanted to study there. But when they studied what they wanted to study in Toyota, and then when they went back and implemented in their company, the necessary success results were not there. They copied or they became copycats from this. But why? The reason is what holds good for you does not hold good for others. So we have to independently customize and carry out the new product. And whenever you want to develop, when you want to implement product development process, you have to give from technical perspective. See, you have to study it in a very more realistic approach rather than the theoretical one. You have better understanding of the process. You have to implement the best practices. You have to make the necessary changes in structure, process, behavior. By combining all these approaches, that is basically of product development as well as organizational development. This is important. Why we are saying is that the structure of your organization, the people involved in this project, they should be also involved. So now the concept of product success is very, very difficult to understand. You cannot neglect it, or uh, you cannot implement as you like it, because you have to consider a lot of factors. So one thing is proven, that if you want to develop and implement the product development, you have to take into consideration these four important factors. Which are those? Cost management, time effectiveness, process capability, as well as quality improvements. Okay. So now these are some of the steps we have to take for product development. Now the next important point as per your syllabus is how to implement product development process successfully. So now we can say that if you want to study these, we can go to the next slide where I have highlighted 10 important factors which are going to play a very important role in deciding the success of new product development process, or we call as NPD. So in the next slide, I have related these 10 terms. So what is important is to make a product development process success. These 10 are important. What is the first is an active product owner. Okay. So who is the product owner? Hmm? he is the owner of the company. A product owner is a client who actively engages in that project, and as the term suggests, you should be very clear it is the ownership. So if you have got a very active promoter, your owner, who says that go ahead with the project, you develop the new product. If the product is successful, it will make me proud. He is willing to take the responsibility for all the decisions. He is going to motivate the people, and most importantly, he feels that he is also part of the team. It means that the owner of the company should work hand in hand with you. If not getting in, he should get involved in the team. So most successful is an active product owner. If he just gives you instruction and moves off, there is no use. What is expected from the product owner is he should take the pride of ownership. He should listen to you in detail. He should be able to guide you. He should be willing to take the responsibility if anything goes wrong. And most important is effective product owner. So we can say that effective product owner should see that the NPD process as collaborative. This is a very important word. Collaborative means both the owner and the team are working together. Then that is very, very important. So that is the first point. What is next? Reliable team. The team which is going to implement the product design is very, very important. If you bring people who have not worked together, then it will be difficult for them to work together. If already you make a group of people who know each other very well, they know each other's emotions, they can work hand in hand, then that is your reliable team. So the teamwork is very, very important. It is very important that keeping the team together wherever possible, you have to sequence the work within the project portfolio to ensure that the team will take the risk of project and they will overcome all the people. It is important that if you want to achieve the peak team performance, we must try to develop a rich, intimate, and emotional relationship among the skilled people who must work with one another. And that see why I'm telling is important is the team is very, very important. The team members too should trust each other and see that both together common objective should be same. So what is the most important of this is that you have to develop a reliable team to implement the new product development process. That team who know each other, who trust each other, who have been connected by intimate and emotional relationship so that they carry out the work and ensure the success of the project. So this is very, very important. Good owner, good team. Third, clear objective. See, what is this now? See, always when you are developing a new product, there is risk in that. Do you agree or no? It is not an easy challenge. Your product may be successful or may fail. You can't predict. It's always a challenge. So, whatever is there, you have to manage that risk to maximize the benefits. What are the benefits? New ideas, efficiency gains, and you have to try to minimize the pitfalls. What are the pitfalls? Organizational anarchy, some scope creep, whatever is it. So the best phase is you should have a clearly defined objective. So even though they are working independently in their own assigned work, there should be a mission statement. They should be clear of the task, what they are going to do. So next important point is clear, well-defined objective. Next, this is one more point which we would like to highlight is avoiding novelty. So what is the meaning is that You should not try to involve more and more innovative in the product. Sometimes the innovation may exceeds the actual required. So we should resist the temptation to implement the latest and the greatest because it is not going to be implemented. See, as much as possible, you try to take avoid new innovative access. Innovation is required, but novelty which is more than required is very dangerous. So you have to balance the strategy and execution. If you give more important to the more novelty, then managing the trend will be easy. So you have to divide. So next important is a product roadmap. So having a great idea is only the beginning. You have to keep this in mind. Having a great idea is only the beginning. So what is important is you have to have a clearly defined product road map.
अभी अभी क्लास के दोस्त रावे
So what is important is, sorry for the interruption. So now here, what I was saying is that the most effective new product development has a roadmap based on which you have to work. So what is the roadmap? It will indicate what is the timeline. These are all further points again will include, which will help you to clear the map. Where you are, where you want to go, how you want to go, what is the detailed roadmap. Everyone should be clear. See, which are the parts: testing your idea, identifying your target market, what should be the price, how to define the product. And see, one thing is that, and every product is a new, it's a new concept. I worked in earlier products now. For a new product, new strategy, new parameters, new constraints, new market areas, long-term objectives, all have to be factored. See, and I say that when there is a roadmap in product development process, there is lot of uncertainty. What is it? Uncertainty, something which you cannot predict. Unpredictable events. Suddenly new competitor will come. Before you launch your product, you are still in the product development phase. Some competitor will come. He will fix up a price. What you had thought of implementing in the product, someone else has implemented. So lot of competition will be there. Macroeconomic factors, organizational change may take place, new opportunities may come. So the road what you have planned may not be the one that you are going to traverse. It may be new. So you should always be ready to accommodate that. Now, solid research. A successful NVD project requires a thorough understanding of all the tests. What solid research? What is the target market? What the market needs? What is our product? Who are our competitors? What are our price? There is no use of launching a product if you don't know anything about what is your target market, or if your product doesn't have anything. See, setting it apart from the, see, if your product has something, doesn't have something new from what is there in the market, there is no use. If you have got existing market research, you should know what it holds good in the future. So solid research is important, and most important, thorough testing. Testing is very important. So you have got a wide number of tests. See, before you launch the product, you have to see that the product is subjected to lot number of tests. How are you going to test the product? Only when you launch in the market. From whom you are going to take the feedback? The most important is the customer. The customers will give you valuable feedback and insight so that you can use how to improve your product you're developing in a way that you know users will naturally love. So you can take a small prototype test. You can See, again, all these things we will study when you are going to launch the product. Before you launch the product, you have to go for pilot tests in the market. So that is very, very important. Now, one more important is focused approach. See, again, all these things what we have discussed and what I'm telling you, I have included them in your notes, which during the course of time you can again go through and study in detail, and even you can add up some more things to you. So here there is one more point which we need to know in focused approach is feature creep. It's called as what? Feature creep. That is the tendency to keep adding features to your product post beyond the point of usefulness. So what happens? See, you should know what is your product and whom it is going to address and what the customer wants. Unnecessarily, if you go on adding features to the customer, it is called as feature creep. You add something which is of not use to the customer, that is called as feature creep. This you should avoid. Okay. So what is the meaning is, once you are finished your research and product testing stages, the temptation is always there. What is the temptation? I have to make the product still better, still better. Those that better doesn't end. Somewhere you have to end. So in this journey to make your product better, what you do? You go on making more and more changes in the product. Some changes which you feel that you are doing it for the good of the product, but in the end the customer don't like. So you have to somewhere stop. That is called as what? Focused approach. Even your temptation is there, you have to add this to the product, you have to like. So there is nothing wrong with this. So but in reality what happens, if you go on making changes in the product, it can slow your project down and unnecessary complications will be there. So the moral summary of this is, good NPD project tend to stay focused on specific clear objective. Next is, as the name indicates, timeline. For everything, every phase, you have certain deadline. You have to fix the timeline for the work you do. Each phase should have a deadline attached to it and a solid roadmap for getting things done. So NPD means is only creativity, inspiration, and innovation. All this you do, you need a pretty clear cut idea of what you want to achieve within what time frame. That is the important. And the last is, I said, no, nothing goes as per your plan. You have to be ready for the unexpected things which are unpredictable. Which things are unpredictable? Market change, demand for the product, the demand may suddenly become done, uncertain economic activity, economics winds can change, new opportunities, competitors, lot of uncertainties are there. You have to overcome all those uncertainties. That's the reason your product development phase implementation should be adaptable and very flexible to as much as possible. So the best practice here is try to project at least two or three options down the line, which will try to reduce your. There's always going to be a fair bit of unpredictability whenever you're developing a new product, but you have to keep a backup. What is a backup? If this doesn't go wrong, you should be ready with plan B. Plan A is wrong, you have to ready with plan B. So this is all about what are the requirements for implementing the product development. So next topic, what we are going to study is the product launch, which we will take up in the next discussions. Okay, thank you.